Hey guys, Corell Cooper with OnTheBlack.com here to give you my Mets Braves series recap. So the Mets swept a mini two-game series in Atlanta, bringing their record to 12-13 on the season. And I really have three takeaways from this series. The first is, the Mets won 3 out of 4 on this little mini road trip. And to me, what's significant about that is, the 3 out of 4 that they won was in Philly and in Atlanta. Normally when you circle those games on your schedule, they could usually give the Mets some trouble. So I'm happy to see that the Mets took 3 out of 4 on the road against two of their biggest rivals, the Phillies and the Braves. And what's even more significant about that, in my opinion, is they did that without Johan Santana pitching any of those games. The Mets starting pitching outside of Santana, has struggled up until this point. So for them to go out there and win 3 out of 4 in Philly and Atlanta without Santana pitching any of those games, to me is a good sign. The second takeaway from this is David Wright, I think, is starting to turn the corner and starting to get hot a little bit there with the bat. He was 4 for 9 in the series against Atlanta with a home run and a few RBIs, and he's taking the ball to the opposite field, which is a good sign. So looking at David Wright, hopefully he'll continue to hit the ball well, but he's showing signs of breaking out of the slump, which is good for the Mets. The third takeaway is I saw last night that the Mets, showed some emotion in that game, which, you normally don't see from the Mets. And that's one of, as a Mets fan, our biggest complaint is that the team sometimes looks a little lackadaisical, looks a little laid back, and doesn't really play with any fire and emotion. And you saw, late in the game when Castillo made an error after the inning was over, he showed some emotion there throwing his glove. Now, whether you agree with him throwing his glove on the field or not, in my opinion, that's a good sign that he showed that he was pissed off, that he made a mistake, and he's showing some emotion, some fire. David Wright also in the game, late in the game, he did have a bad at bat where he made an out. And when he got back to the dugout, you saw some signs of frustration on his face. And those are things that you normally don't see from the Mets. Those are things that, the Mets fans want to see, is more emotion and to play with more energy and more life. And it was good to see some signs of that in yesterday's game. Now it's time for my Who's Hot, Who's Not segment. Who's hot? Of course, Carlos Beltran, the hottest hitter in the Mets lineup right now. He's really been the only consistent hitter in the Mets lineup all season long. Beltran's batting over 400 right now. He's got a 16-game hitting streak. He's been on base in every single game this season. Actually, his on-base streak actually goes back to last September. So Beltran, the hottest hitter in the Mets lineup right now, and really at a time when Reyes has been struggling, Wright has been struggling. He's looking to come out of it now, and Delgado's been injured. Beltran's been the core guy in the Mets lineup that's really been carrying the offense. So Beltran off to an excellent start this year, and he's definitely the hottest hitter in the Mets lineup right now. The flip side of that, who's not hot, Jose Reyes. Just a couple weeks ago, Reyes was batting about 338. And I know, with this early in the season, if you have a couple bad games, your average can, dip really fast. But, to go from 338 to where he's now batting 257 on the season, Reyes has been slumping at the plate. He doesn't look good at the plate at all because he's not getting on base. He's not getting many steals. He's only got 6 stolen bases on the season right now. And, the old saying is, as Jose Reyes goes, so does the Mets offense. So really need Jose Reyes to turn this around and get hot. A couple weeks ago, actually last week, I think, when Wright was struggling, I suggested that maybe Wright needed a day off just to kind of sit down and watch a game from another perspective from the bench, and maybe that would help. Now, he didn't get a chance to get a day off because of Delgado being out and Tatis having to play first base, but he's starting to turn it around. But maybe, Jose Reyes needs a day off. Maybe you put, Alex Cora at shortstop for a game. I don't know. Give Jose Reyes a day off and let him just kind of sit on the bench and take a look at the game from another perspective. Maybe that might help him a little bit here. But Jose Reyes not hot right now. Hopefully he can turn it around soon. Up next for the Mets, the Phillies come to town for 3 starting tonight. Johan Santana will be on the mound. A couple things that I'm looking for out of this series. One, like I said earlier in this post, the Mets have won 3 out of 4 here on their trip to Philly and Atlanta. Looking to see if the Mets continue to win here. Hopefully they can win 2 out of 3, if not a sweep, but 2 out of 3 at the minimum here at home, and continue to play good baseball here. The other thing I'm looking for to see is if Oliver Perez will get into one of these games out of the bullpen and what role he'll be used. I ran a poll on theblack.com yesterday and asked the question from you Mets fans, now that Perez is in the bullpen, how should he be used? Should he be used as long relief? Should he be used as a 6th or 7th inning guy? Should he be used as the lefty specialist? Or should he not be used at all out of the bullpen? Should he just sit there until he can work out his issues and then come back in the starting rotation? So if you didn't get a chance to vote on that poll, take a look at ontheblack.com and vote on that poll there. But looking to see how Manuel uses Oliver Perez in this series. And that's it for my series recap, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Talk to you soon.